This is video 3 out of 3 in this marketing series. In video 1, we changed the way we look at marketing. You're not buying services, you're buying results. Money goes out to marketing, money comes back into the bank account. In video 2, we talked about the different main pricing models that marketing companies and lead vendors use. And we looked at what really happens in real life scenarios of pay per lead, pay per appointment, revenue share, setup fees, and more. In this video, we're going to bring everything together and talk about 3 things. How to choose the right way to work with marketing vendors, how to protect yourself with systems and your CRM, and how to think about building knowledge in-house instead of being dependent on vendors forever. Let's start with the biggest mistake we see again and again. Most business owners fell in love with one sentence. I only want to pay when I see something happens. So they chase models like only pay per lead, only pay per appointment, only pay per show, only pay per profit. On paper, it sounds perfect. No leads, no cost. No appointments, no cost. No shows, no cost. It feels safe, it feels logical, it feels like the risk is on the marketing company. But there is the problem. Vendors optimize for what they are paid for. If they are paid per lead, they push for volume of leads. If they are paid per appointment, they push for volume of appointments. If they are paid per show, they push for volume of shows. You as the business owner don't want volume. You want profitable customers. And those are not the same things. So the first shift is this. Don't choose a model because it feels safe or feels fair. Choose a model because it makes sense for your numbers, your systems, and your stage of business. To do that, I want you to think about 4 things. Your ticket size and lifetime value, your sales process, your cash flow and risk, and your data maturity, how good your tracking really is. Let's start with ticket size and lifetime value. If you are selling something low ticket with low profit per customer, you cannot afford expensive models. If a customer is worth $200 in profit, you cannot pay $100 per lead or per appointment and expect to win. By the time you pay marketing and sales, there is no money left. If you are selling something mid or high ticket, or you have strong lifetime value because the customer stays with you for years, you can afford to pay more per qualified appointment, and you can even consider more advanced models in specific cases. So the first question is simple. How much is one good customer worth to you in profit, not just revenue? The second factor is your sales process. Do you have strong salespeople? Do you respond fast to leads? Do you have a clear script, a clear offer, and a clear follow-up system? If your sales process is weak, pay per lead is actually a terrible idea. You get a lot of leads, your team doesn't handle them well, your close rates are low, and everyone ends up blaming the marketing, even though part of the problem is inside your business. In that situation, it is usually better to work with a vendor on something like a small retainer or setup plus ongoing support while you fix your internal sales process and the follow-up system. If your sales process is strong, your close rate is good, you respond quickly to new leads, and you know your numbers, then models like pay-per-qualified lead or pay-per-qualified appointment can work much better for you. The third factor is your cash flow and your risk tolerance. Some businesses need stability. They need to know roughly how much goes out every month and what they can expect back. They cannot handle big swings or long testing cycles. In that situation, predictable models are better. You might choose a smaller, clear retainer or a simple pay-per-qualified lead model with caps rather than very aggressive performance-only deals. Other businesses can handle more risk. They have more runway, they can afford to experiment and adjust over a few months. In that situation, they might test performance-heavy deals as long as they have the systems to measure what's really happening. Without measurement, you have nothing. And the fourth factor is data and CRM maturity. If your CRM is basically an address book, if you don't know exactly where each lead comes from, if you don't know how many leads became deals and how many deals became customers, then performance models and revenue share are super dangerous. They will be based on opinion, not facts. You will argue what worked and what didn't, but you won't really know. On the other end, if your CRM is clean and structured, every lead is tagged by the source and vendor, every deal has a value, and you can see conversion rates, and each step, you are in a very strong position. You can safely run more advanced models. You can show vendors exactly what their campaign generated, and you can make decisions from numbers instead of from emotions. Now let's talk specifically about revenue share and similar models. Revenue share is something you should only consider if you have a proper CRM and proper systems in place. What we like to do in those situations is very simple and very powerful. Whenever we work with a company on a revenue share basis or a pay-per appointment or any kind of model that depends on accurate CRM data, we make sure that the moment the lead comes in from the specific vendor, it is automatically tagged under the vendor. So no human is involved. From that second, the vendor is attached to the lead in the system. Then the vendor gets access to a portal that is connected to our CRM. And in that portal, they can see all the leads that came from their work. As the lead progresses to booked appointment, to opportunity, to close deal, they have real-time visibility into the status, but we restrict what they can see. If it's a revenue share deal, we might show the deal amount, the customer first name and last name, maybe the company name, but not more than that. We don't open the entire CRM to them. We only show the data related to their work, and we only show the fields that are relevant to this specific agreement. That way, they have enough data to trust the process, and we are not exposing our entire CRM database. This is an important principle. Don't blindly trust the vendor. Give them what they need so they can do their job, but don't give them everything. They don't need full access to every part of your operation. They need controlled access to the information related to their work with a clear structure and clear limits. Now, let's talk about companies with smaller budgets. If your budget is limited, I always prefer models that are more predictable. Some things like pay-per-qualified lead or pay-per-qualified appointment. with clear definitions. These models are a mix of trust and data. You define what qualified means, you agree on what the vendor is responsible for, you track everything in the CRM, and you know roughly how much you will spend if they deliver. Also, when you work with any new company, no matter what the model is, I always like to start small. Start with a small campaign, a limited area, a limited budget. Let both sides build trust. Let both sides see if the communication and the numbers make sense. Then, if it works, you scale together. As a side note, I have another company that is a business consulting company. Over the years, we see more and more companies coming to us not to outsource the marketing work for us, but to build their own knowledge. They come for consulting to build the knowledge in-house, which I always prefer that you will do it. As an example, one of our services is building cold email campaigns. On the surface, it sounds easy. Just send some emails, but in reality, it's very complicated. Targeting, messaging, deliverability, infrastructure, follow-up, compliance. Instead of relying on external data sources and external vendors to perform the work, we consult them on how to do it themselves. We teach them how to structure campaigns, how to use their CRM properly, how to track everything. The same thing is happening with pay-per-click campaigns, Google ads, Facebook ads, and other channels. Companies are saying we don't want to be blind, we want to understand what is going on. We want to control our own systems. So instead of just paying a vendor to do marketing, they invest in building the knowledge inside their own teams with someone guiding them. This is a growing trend, which I really like. It doesn't mean you will never use vendors again, but it means you're not longer completely dependent on them. They are not holding you as hostage. You understand what they are doing, you can ask better questions, you can see if what they say even makes sense. Now, let's talk about pay-per-click. For example, Facebook campaigns or Google ads, Instagram, or any channel where you are paying for clicks or leads. If you don't have a system to track every single lead at the campaign level, you are committing business suicide. I want to say that again because it's that serious. If you are paying Facebook and Google and other platforms for leads, and you are not tracking every lead in your CRM with the exact source, at the exact campaign, at the exact offer they responded to, you are committing business suicide. You will have no idea what is really working. You will have no idea which campaign is burning money. You will have no way to stop the losers and double down on the winners. The platforms will happily take your money. Your marketers will also be happy to take your money. Vendors will happily tell you it's working because you're getting clicks and leads, but without campaign level tracking into your CRM, you cannot see the truth. Now, let's talk about reporting and dashboards, because this is where a lot of problems show up. Unfortunately, we see three main categories of prospects around reporting. The first category is people who don't want reporting at all. They believe their marketers are the best in the world. They've been told, this agency is amazing. This person is a genius. There is nothing to check. And every time we hear that, we smile, because when we put our systems in place and show real numbers, those aces, best in class, proven rock stars, often turn up to be not that great. The second category is people who don't want to spend the money on a proper system. Let's say the system cost about $2,000. In many cases, that's less than 1 month of a failed campaign. So they are happily spending thousands of dollars on a monthly basis for years, but they don't want to invest on a tool that shows them what is really happening in the system. The third group is people who are being led by their marketing company, and the marketing company definitely does not want your systems to have tracking. They don't want independent dashboards. They don't want real-time visibility into campaigns. And in many cases, they will actively convince the client not to work with us or with any similar system. They will come up with a story, it will confuse you, it's not needed, it's a waste of time, it will break things. We already have everything handled, but the bottom line is very simple. They don't want their customers to see the real results because they know there is not much to show. So if your marketing company is fighting against independent reporting and CRM-based dashboards, you should see that as a very big red flag. Now, let's talk about questions. We like to say, ask good questions, but the reality is that most businesses don't have the time. They are busy running operations. They know they need marketing. They know they need leads. They feel pressure to execute, so they don't follow any framework. They don't ask enough questions. They just sign something and hope it will work. And that's a big problem because marketing is super expensive. It can easily take you from let's spend a little bit and see what happens to maybe if we spend more it will finally work to let's refine the campaign and let's hope we're getting more results. And suddenly the campaigns are completely out of control. The business is spending money everywhere. There is no clear reporting. There is no clear framework, and the owner is just hoping something will stick. In some cases, this spiral isn't what killed the business. They cannot maintain the marketing budgets. They cannot carry the cost of endless experiments. They closed their doors not because they had a bad product, but because they had uncontrolled marketing. Let me finish with a set of simple rules and an action plan. Rule number 1, define success in numbers before you begin your marketing campaigns. What is a lead? What is a qualified lead? What is an appointment? What is a show? What is a qualified show? What exactly counts as revenue from the campaign? Write it down, agree on it internally, put it into the contract. Rule number 2, everything must be trackable in your CRM. Every deal must show where it came from. Every closed sales must have a value in the source. If it's not in the CRM for decision-making purposes, it doesn't exist. Rule number 3, time box your experiments. Don't sign endless agreements with no review point. Say things like, we will run this for 90 days. Here are the number of items we are going to review. Here is roughly what success looks like. Here is what we will do if we are far from these numbers. Rule number 4 will be limit how many vendors and models you run at once. If you have too many campaigns with too many structures, you don't understand any of them. Start with 1 or 2. Make sure they are fully integrated with your CRM. Make sure the data is clean. Only then expand it if it makes sense. Rule number 5, be very careful with large setup fees. If you pay a setup fee, You must know exactly what you're getting, and you must own the assets, the ad account, the landing pages, the copy, the tracking, the email flows. If the relationship ends, those things stays with you. Rule number 6, own your core assets and your data. Never give full control of your ad accounts, your list, your CRM to any external vendors. Collaborate? For sure. End of a relationship? Absolutely not. Give them what they need to work. Don't give them more than they need. Rule number 7, use data to renegotiate or walk away. Once everything is in your CRM, you can sit down and say, this is what we spent, this is what we got in leads, in appointments, in customers. This is our real pay-per customer. This is our real ROI, the return. If you're good, you scale. If it's bad, you change or you stop. You are not trapped. You are not guessing. You are not relying on how it feels like. So here is your action plan. Step number 1, list every marketing vendor and every channel you currently have, including pay-per-lead, pay-per-click, campaigns, Facebook, Google Ads, and so on. Write down the model for each one of them and how much you are really paying. Step number 2, go into your CRM and make sure every lead has a source, a vendor, and if possible, a campaign. If this is not the case, fix it going forward. From today, every new lead should be tagged correctly. Step number 3, look at the last 3 to 6 months and roughly calculate how many leads did you get from each vendor and each campaign? How many became real opportunities? How many closed? How much revenue did they bring? Even if it's not perfect, get a first version. Step number 4, ask yourself 4 questions. What is my real profit per customer? How strong is my sales process? How much variability can my cash flow handle? How mature is my CRM and my reporting? Based on those answers, decide which models make sense for you now, which ones you should avoid, and where it might be smarter to invest in building knowledge inside your own team with consulting and training instead of giving everything to vendors. Once you have that in place, you will make better decisions, you will spend smarter, and you will never again be fully dependent on what a marketing company tells you, because you will have the truth in front of you in your own systems.